Hello, I'm Alan Rule, and today I want to share a story with you guys. Um, there are two things I want you to know about me. You probably already know them. One, I love history, not just church history, but history, and I attend the traditional Latin Mass. And in terms of history, I I, I like church history because I like history. I read a lot of secular history as well. I try to get primary sources and stuff like that. Um, But I suppose my primary history is the history of me. I've kept, and the best way to learn to get history is to get things as early as possible in terms of testimony. Like if I was going to write something that I did during university, my adventures during university, I'd probably have to go. It's still a primary source if I'm telling the story, but I'm going off memory, or I could be going off documents. Now, something about me, I've kept a daily diary for almost 15 years. I don't miss a day. And in terms of historiography, a diary is worth its weight in gold, far more than a memoir. Because we all know what we did today, we know what we did yesterday. What did you do 3 days ago? What did you do 47 days ago? You have no idea, unless that was the day you got married or something. So, I so you can kind of take a look. These books here, l- take a look at my pointer finger, starting at this brown one, these black ones, and all these green ones. Those are my diaries every day. Almost 15 years I've been keeping a diary. And 10 years ago on this day, exactly 10 years, I know because I have a diary. I attended my first traditional Latin Mass. I was still in my hometown at the time. I'm born and raised in Edmonton. I moved to Calgary later that month, actually, because about a week after my first traditional Latin Mass, I had a job interview and I got the job, moved down to Calgary, and I've been here ever since. But let me tell you um, how it happened. That summer, a friend of mine was getting married. It was a Catholic wedding. Both him and his wife were Catholic, and almost everyone there was Catholic as well. I go to the wedding, and I'm talking to a girl there. She's Catholic. I ask her what church she goes to. Then she names the church. It's not too far from my house. It's probably about a 10-minute drive from my house. And then she's like, however, I prefer to go at 8 a.m. because I prefer it in Latin. I'm like, Latin? They still do that, you know? And so anyway, the next day, and so I was kind of excited. So the next day, I stayed pretty late at the wedding, so I didn't go to Latin Mass then because it's early. I went to my normal church, which had Mass, I think, at around 10 or 11. And then the next week, though, I'm like, I'm going to attend the Latin Mass for the first time. That was the 5th of August, 2012. And I was absolutely blown away. And a thing about history that's so interesting, when we tell the story later on, we can embellish details. We can basically add emotions that weren't there, kind of retcon the history of what happened. But I keep a daily diary. I write in it every day. And so my experiences of that day are written down in my diary. Uh, so I'm going to read to you The 5th of August, 2012. This is my first experience at a traditional Latin Mass. I'm not going to read the whole day because only just the stuff, what happens in the morning. Today was great. I got up at 7 a.m. to go to Latin Mass at 8 a.m. I showed up to see two people outside telling me that the Mass had been postponed until 1 p.m. I talked with one of the people for quite a while. His name was Paul, and he was French. We talked in French for a while. I speak French. Um, w- while I was there, Mark Rule's friend Carlos showed up. Mark Rule is my cousin. We're second cousins. We have the same great grandfather. Um, Mark Rule's friend Carlos showed up, and we talked for a bit. I came back and went to Latin Mass at 1 p.m. It was beautiful. The women had their heads covered. Unmarried women had white scarves, and married women had black scarves. It was beautiful. There was a family in front of me. There was one mother, and she had about seven children, all of them girls. The oldest one looked like she was in high school, and the youngest was a baby. The rest were in between. That's how women should be: proper, dignified, and pious. The homily was amazing. The priest quoted St. Gregory the Great, St. Thomas Aquinas, and St. Ignatius of Loyola. I don't know if it's just the priest or if Latin Mass in general is like that. And then I talk about the other stuff I did that day. That was my first experience of the traditional Latin Mass. And about a week later, I had the job interview. A few days later, I heard back. I got the job. I had to move down to Calgary. I moved down on the 31st of August, and I started the job September 4th. I've been in Calgary for almost 10 years. I guess that 10-year anniversary is coming up. But 10 years ago to this day, those were my emotions as I attended the traditional Latin Mass for the first time. I was blown away. And I was so blown away that it's pretty much what I've attended since. Like occasionally I'll go to the Novus Ordo. And I'm not the kind of guy that says, oh, you have to do traditional Latin Mass or else. But no, just I love this Mass. It's a huge part of my faith. And I plan to continue going to it as long as I can. And it's very depressing to see people like Pope Francis, how they don't like this Mass, and essentially want the Mass gone. I'm not going to talk about that. That's a whole nother video. But he doesn't like this Mass, and it it has throttled me since the first day I attended this Mass. And yeah, you heard it myself. You heard my own experience from my diary 10 years ago to this day. It's been an amazing 10 years. I've grown so much, and the traditional Latin Mass is one of the main reasons I've experienced that spiritual growth. It's the ultimate way to grow closer to Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. It is absolutely beautiful, picturesque. And when I moved down to Calgary at the end of the month, it didn't take long before I found the Latin Mass community in Calgary, and I've been attending ever since. And I'd encourage you to give the traditional Latin Mass a try if you haven't given it a try. Um, Most people should have access to one. It's probably in some places it's probably not as easy as it was a couple years back because of Traditionis Custodes, but it's still fairly accessible. And yeah, so I would say give it a try, and who knows, you may have the experience that I had, and you may choose to continue attending this Mass, and it has done wonders for my faith. So I just wanted to share that with you. I hope everyone has a good Friday. And if you haven't been this Sunday, search out and experience the traditional Latin Mass for yourself. Thank you and God bless.